Do you have a story, something back in your past that you're embarrassed about because it explains something about your mindset? And it's so sad that you can't even talk about it or even think about it very much. I have something like that. And back when I was like 20, maybe 21, I had a taste for a Frosty. A bad taste for a Frosty, like I had to have one. Anyway, I was going to go out and get a Frosty, and I asked my family if they wanted anything from Wendy's, and a couple of people said what they wanted. I took their orders, and then I went down the road to Wendy's and ordered a Frosty. I got back a cup, and it was partially filled. I think I ordered probably a medium Frosty, and maybe about a half an inch from the top is where it landed. And I thought, this can't happen. This is mostly what I want. This is why I came here. And I mentioned it to the gentleman who was helping me. And then he looked at me incredulously. And so I looked back at him like, yeah, fill up my Frosty. And then he leaned over at me and he said, "You're going to get me fired. I just put extra hamburgers and French fries in there in your bag. You're going to get me fired, man." And then I felt ridiculous. I picked up the bag and my partially filled Frosty and walked out of Wendy's feeling very sort of warm and, sort of scared at the idea that I would be hurting somebody, and that was certainly not my intention. It wasn't my intention to go there and get things for free or things that I didn't order, but I was really focused so much on what I didn't have, focusing on the lack, focusing on that slither of cup that I could see. And I realized that, looking back, I went into Wendy's with a scarcity mindset, basically. And that's what happens. We focus on things that are not there, on the lack. We kind of walk around with negativity, and we're not able to see the blessings that are there in front of us. I mean, that is mindset. When we open our eyes and look out, mindset is what we see, how we see the world, how we see our opportunities, how we see our choices, how we look at ourselves, how we look at other people. Is it a scary place out there or in there or not? That's mindset. And I went into Wendy's with the scarcity mindset and participated and contributed to an event that wasn't intended. And it sticks with me to this day when I'm thinking about my mindset and where it is. Am I feeling protective? Am I feeling defensive? Am I microcosmic? Am I just seeing one tree? Or can I appreciate the forest in front of me, all of the beauty in front of me? So we have a dominant mindset. And I hope that at that time, I wasn't having a dominant mindset of scarcity. Where do you live these days? You might look at mindset in 4 different quadrants, if you will. I have a piece where I talk about the mindset quadrant. You might consider where I was that day was scarcity. But then there are some times when we have a fixed mindset where a person might say to themselves, well, I don't have patience. I've never had patience. And so they feel that not only have they struggled with patience, but there's no way that they can grow in patience. Maybe a person says something about their capacity, about who they feel they are, and about what they are able to do. And they don't have a feeling that they can grow from experience. This is a mindset that we can all have, all of these mindsets. I mean, we're all human, and we can be going in and out of these if we are not mindful and if we are not sort of surveilling, if you will, taking an image, evaluating what our mindset is, how we are looking at ourselves. Well, then we can just be going about our life. So we have a dominant mindset, though, that we kind of live with, most of us, and then maybe we have incidental adjustments. And then there's a growth mindset, and that becomes very helpful for us because we feel that we can learn from experience. We feel that there are opportunities that if we make adjustments in our style, in our approach, in the information that we have and avail ourselves to, if we do this thing over and over, if we develop this habit or that habit, then things can work out right. That's the growth mindset. And then, of course, the abundance mindset is where we can open our eyes and see that, there are things, there are opportunities, there are choices all over the place. And there's not this sense that if I have something somebody else can't, and if they have something I can't, what they have has something to do with what I have. The abundance mindset is the idea and the feeling and the very understanding, the knowledge. When we have mindset, it's an understanding that there's enough for everybody. So that's the abundance mindset. What is your dominant mindset, and is it helping you as you go through your days? When you open your eyes, do you see possibilities? Do you see opportunities? Do you see the choices? It has everything to do with how we move in the world. And so ask yourself and examine yourself, examine your mindset. And when I say examine, of course, I'm talking about being mindful. So in some regards, I wanted to suggest some ideas here that there's a difference between mindset and mindfulness. And so that when we behave, so behavior is another idea, well, then we can separate them. So a lot of times we beat ourselves up because of some behavior that we participated in, like beating somebody up over, a little Frosty, 1 ounce of Frosty or something like that. That was some behavior. But if I wanted to make an adjustment going forward, well, then it would mean adjusting my mindset and examining what was my mindset when I went in here. So anyway, a couple of ideas here. I'm glad you're with me here on this journey, having these conversations about how we can make adjustments, how we can evaluate who we are, how we can adjust who we are so that we can get the kind of health and the kind of well-being, enjoy the kind of life that we have in our hearts. That's why this matters to me as a physician. If this didn't have health implications, I wouldn't be talking about it at all. And I feel compelled to have these conversations because when I recommend and prescribe medications to people and prescribe a way forward for people that is, let's say, a prescription or a prescription about this approach or that approach, it won't help them unless I am also evaluating them and talking to them on the level of mindset also. If I just walk up to somebody and give them a prescription, well, then they'll feel disrespected and they won't get the benefit. None of us will get the benefit, fulfillment of being here on this journey together. Take care, guys. Keep winning.